Hello everybody, welcome to the Story Behind the Music. My name is John Banther. I'm here today with American composer Nico Muhly at the premiere of his ballet, One Thing Leads to Another.
Yes.
So, tonight being the premiere, what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited to no longer have to change anything.
Yeah?
There's nothing I can do. It's completely in your hands.
It's final.
It's final. Well, I think so. That we're still fucking with the ending a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is totally great, and now I can leave it.
Close the book.
Yeah, close the book, exactly. Get it off my desk.
Yes. And you said this is the seventh ballet you've done.
This is at least the fourth I've done with Benjamin.
Okay.
So it's been a long time kind of leading up to it.
Mm-hmm. So has each ballet kind of gotten easier with the challenges you've had to overcome?
Actually really a lot easier.
Yeah?
Yeah. The first one wasn't hard, but it wasn't like... This was very simple to put together, because I think now we speak each other's language pretty well, and it's easy to know what he likes and what won't work.
Okay. And you're not new to the Netherlands at all, right? You've played here a lot.
Played here a lot, worked here a lot, yeah.
And also in the UK?
Also in the UK.
So, since you've had all your stuff played, in the States, in the UK, and here in the Netherlands, have you noticed any difference in how the audiences or the musicians react to your music?
A lot. Yeah. I mean, it's weird. The Netherlands, actually Benelux in general, I found everyone is really chilled out while they're watching, and then afterwards they'll maybe love it and maybe tell you, but it's Sasha, so like,
thank you.
But it's sort of difficult to tell while it's happening. You don't sort of read the room in that way that you can for me in the States or in London. I mean, in London I always misread the room, but you can still do it. I always think everyone hates everything all the time. Whereas here it's sort of more neutral, but
yeah.
I don't know. I've done a lot of work here, not in sort of non-classical contexts, which is a very different vibe. And this is actually the first kind of straightforward classical thing I've done in the Netherlands, despite having worked here a lot. So I'm excited to see what happens. Although whatever, it's more Benjamin's piece than mine at this point.
Okay.
I think maybe.
And you have a pretty good presence online. You have a website and like a blog. You update relatively frequently. I saw there's some videos of your music on YouTube.
There might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've put anything up on YouTube except for some weird stuff I've made, but yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff, and you're also on Twitter.
Yeah.
And with all these new tools popping up, like social media, do you see, in regards to that, do you see anything, with the future of composition?
Oh God, I hope not.
You hope not.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's still so young that people are still sort of figuring out. It's sort of giraffe learning to walk, that technology. I mean, people have tried those like weird YouTube symphony things, or there's that sort of Eric Whitacre virtual part, which is cool or whatever, but I'm not necessarily sure that the music itself has been changed by the technology yet. It's just a cool way of realizing music. If that makes sense. Like, the Eric Whitacre piece, for instance, sounds like Eric Whitacre, just happens to have been sung by 500,000 people on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't, or there's that ridiculous, well, anyway, the point is, it doesn't matter. But I think we're still in the stages where people are sort of figuring out. For me, I like it because it keeps me sort of thinking, and it enables me to feel more, like, even though I'm traveling and doing a million things everywhere, I don't feel so, like, lonesome about it. And sort of check in.
Yeah. But maybe with, newer, younger composers, maybe that can be more outlets for them to kind of break out and get more attention for their music. Yeah, no, that's definitely true. But I think, sorry, I sort of jumped on your question in a sense that I don't think the music itself is being changed yet by the technology, but I think the way that people are receiving it is changing. And exactly. I mean, for instance, a friend of mine yesterday wrote and was like, "Oh my God, I just finished my album. Like, here it is." Which used to would not be possible. I mean, there was no, you wait months and whatever, and just sending CDs and burning and I remember even the last time my ass was here, I had to buy blank CDs. This is a year ago. Because whoever I was working with wasn't like able to receive an MP3, and it was like a stressful thing. I had to like go on a Sunday and find blank CDs, which is actually really hard here. Nothing is open on Sunday. Yeah, I went to all of that, and there was nothing. It was really crazy. Anyway, so now it's great. Just throw it on the internet, and it's easy, and people in a million countries can have it in 1 second, and it's good. Do you have any advice for composers in, like, conservatories? I mean, you're still really young yourself as a composer, but do you have any advice that for people in conservatories, since you've already kind of been there and, you know, getting your music out there. Do you have any advice for them? On,
yeah, I actually have one really good piece of advice, which is make musicians champion your music. That's the best thing you could possibly do. Is
make musicians...
Make players champion your pieces. Everything good that's ever happened to me has been because a musician was like, you know, like a violist was like, I want to play this piece. And, you know, she sort of played sort of, or a flute player says, I want to play this piece. And if you kind of divorce yourself from the sense that composers are in a separate category as musicians, and instead making it about sort of getting your music in people's voices, in their fingers, it's like the best thing, because then it has a life beyond you constantly having to, like, you know, constantly having to sort of be a really fierce advocate for it. You can let musicians and them, like, really performing something a lot it's much more enticing, I think, for other work.
So finding people that maybe you really relate to or you like on their instruments, and then, you know...
Yeah, and it's going to end up being some random combination of people. It'll be like, you know, you'll know 2 guitarists and a violist and some weird, like, you know, theremin player, and you write a piece for them and make them play it as many times as possible and record it.
Yeah. And
then everyone wins, because they can be like, look at this awesome piece, and you can be like, look at these awesome people, and it's a kind of mutual exchange.
Yeah.
Nice. That Schnicke? She's working on some of the Schnicke quadruple stops.
So you've been to Amsterdam several times. What's your favorite thing to do when you get here? Or to see?
I don't know. That's a good question. My favorite thing to do here is actually just walk around, because there's not much that I sort of... Normally, in most places, my itinerary is guided by food, and there's not really anything to eat here. In the traditional sense of
that's been bothering me.
It's
a huge city.
It drives me crazy.
And there's not like a nice, you know, good restaurant.
No.
I mean, there's a couple of places.
There's like fancy places, but aren't necessarily good. And then there's like, for me, what it is actually the attitude towards lunch. I feel like is like highly uncivilized. Like if you wanted to spend a ton of money on lunch and sit down and have a glass of wine and have someone actually cook food for you that's not like a sandwich, you can't find it. It makes me crazy. And that's all I live for is lunch. Is like you have like a proper like meal. Right. And they're not feeling that. They're like toasty. You're like,
Yeah.
I'll kill you with a fucking toasty. It's anyway. So instead of that, I sort of wander around and eat herring. That's sort of my daily routine. I don't know. Amsterdam's a funny town in that way because it's so close to other places, and yet it doesn't. I think for me, it's also that weird divide between the sort of francophone world and not. Whereas I totally know how to behave in like Brussels or Paris. Like you wander around, you know exactly. But I guess in those places, it's always food driven. I'm like, where's the oyster at? Like, where's that? Where's this? Where's this little like snail? And whereas here, I'm like, oh, herring. Like, something sort of punishing about it. But it is fun.
And where are you headed next?
I go to The Hague tomorrow for a little vacation. I do like that Hague. And then I'm going to London, and then Aldeburgh, and then Ghent, for reasons unknown to me. I'm going to Ghent, and then I'm going home to New York for a month. So I'm excited about that. I'll be home in under a week, I think. Is that true? Maybe not, but soon.
Yes.
10 days.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to me. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to be a part of this.
Good. And you have a little solo too for the tuba.
Yes. It's that second movement is very beautiful writing for the tuba.
Thanks so much. I think it works well on the instrument. I also thought there's a funny thing that you're not expecting because there's been piccolo the whole time, and it's like grouchy tuba.
Yeah.
It's good. Anyway, cool. I'll see you out there.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.